It all started with a stare. Not words. Not a tweet. Just that long, sharp look Iman gave Aaron across the room at a private gathering, the kind of look that said everything without saying anything. The energy between them was tense, thick, uncomfortable. People noticed. Cameras didn't catch it, but the whispers began that night. And that was just the beginning. Because what had been a quiet, brewing storm between the two men in Tayana's life finally erupted, and now there's talk of lawsuits, threats, and lines being crossed in ways no one saw coming. At the center of it all is Tayana, a woman who's been trying to hold it all together for her daughter, her family, and herself, while the two men closest to her keep pulling her in opposite directions. Iman, the father of her child, her former husband, her first protector. Aaron, the man who came into her life after the divorce. Charming, intense, unpredictable. And for a while, it seemed like she was moving forward. Until everything started unraveling. Tension between Iman and Aaron wasn't new. They never liked each other. They never even tried to pretend. Aaron always felt like Iman looked at him like he wasn't good enough. Like he was temporary. And Iman? He never trusted Aaron's intentions with Tayana or their daughter. There were already too many red flags. Aaron's temper, the way he talked over Tayana sometimes, how he always wanted to be in control. But up until now, the tension had stayed quiet. Nothing public. No open fighting. That changed the day of Tayana's daughter's school event. A small, invite-only gathering for parents. Aaron showed up unannounced. He wasn't on the list. He wasn't supposed to be there. But somehow he got in. And when Iman saw him, standing there near their child with a phone in his hand and a smug look on his face, something inside him snapped. Witnesses say Iman walked straight up to Aaron, didn't yell, didn't curse, just stood chest to chest with him and asked, "Why are you here?" Aaron smirked, shrugged, and reportedly replied, "I'm part of her life too. Get used to it." Those 8 words. That was the moment everything changed. Iman reportedly told him to leave, that it wasn't the time or place for games. But Aaron refused. Voices started rising. Parents turned their heads. Tayana, standing just a few feet away, looked like she wanted to disappear. And then it happened. Iman allegedly shoved Aaron back. Not a punch, not a fight, just one sharp push to the chest, like a final warning. Security stepped in within seconds. No one got hurt, but the message was loud and clear. And Aaron? He wasn't going to let that slide. Within 24 hours, rumors spread that Aaron had contacted his legal team. He was claiming public humiliation, aggressive intimidation, and even potential endangerment. Some insiders said he wanted to file a formal harassment claim against Iman. Others said it was more about making a statement, sending a message that he wasn't afraid to go legal if he had to. The blogs had a field day. Headlines popped up everywhere. Aaron versus Iman turns legal. Courtroom battle brewing over Tayana drama. Aaron says Iman crossed the line. Screenshots of alleged text messages and DMs started floating around. One message, supposedly from Aaron's close friend, read, "He's done letting Iman punk him around." Fans were split. Some felt Aaron was being dramatic, using the legal system to save face. Others felt Iman should have handled things differently, especially in public. But most people, they sided with Iman. Social media blew up with support for him. Fans remembered how protective he'd always been of his daughter. How respectful he was even when things with Tayana ended. They dug up old interviews where he talked about fatherhood, about how he'd do anything to keep his little girl safe. People saw the incident not as a man losing his cool, but as a father drawing a line in the sand. One viral tweet read, "Aaron wasn't shoved. He was told to back off. There's a difference." Another said, "Imagine showing up where you're not welcome, then crying when you get called out. Boy, please." The internet made it clear, Iman wasn't the villain. He was a dad who'd had enough. Meanwhile, Tayana was silent. No posts. No statements. Just a photo on her story showing her daughter's tiny hand holding hers, with the caption, "My peace. My world." It said everything without saying a word. But behind the scenes, she was reportedly overwhelmed. A source close to her said she'd cried nonstop the night of the incident, that she blamed herself for letting the situation get this far, that she felt torn, completely stuck between two men who refused to back down. Aaron wasn't done. He allegedly sent Iman a formal cease and desist through his legal team. The document, according to insiders, accused Iman of creating an unsafe and confrontational environment and warned against any future unsolicited contact. It was written coldly, like something from a stranger, not someone who once shared holidays, birthdays, and awkward co-parenting moments. Iman reportedly read it, rolled his eyes, and tossed it on the table. He wasn't scared. He was furious. And then, in a rare move, Iman spoke up. He posted a message on his story that sent shockwaves through fans. "When it comes to my daughter, I don't play. I won't be threatened. I won't be silenced. I don't care what lawyers you bring. I stand where I stand." It was raw, unfiltered, the words of a man who had reached his limit. Fans flooded the comments with support. That's a real one. Protect that king at all costs. He's doing what any dad would do. The pressure started mounting on Aaron. Public opinion was turning hard against him. Every move he made after that was criticized. When he posted a promo for a new project, fans flooded the comments. "You're worried about acting when you should be apologizing? Sit this one out." Even some of his past co-stars began distancing themselves, unfollowing him silently, without fanfare. But Aaron still didn't back down. He doubled down. He gave an interview, short, tense, clipped. He said, "I've been painted as the bad guy when all I ever did was care. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to love. But when people push you, when they threaten you, you have to defend yourself." The interviewer asked if he regretted showing up at the school. He paused, then said, "I don't regret loving the people I love, even if it costs me everything." That line? The public didn't buy it. Fans weren't moved. In fact, they were outraged. Many called it manipulative, saying it wasn't an apology, just a weak attempt to control the narrative. Some accused Aaron of trying to weaponize sympathy, using the backlash to paint himself as the misunderstood one. Others went further, claiming he was now exploiting Tayana and even her daughter as tools to stay in the spotlight. "He's not sorry," one viral comment read. "He's just sorry he got caught." The criticism didn't let up. If anything, it intensified. The more he tried to spin the situation, the more disconnected and disingenuous he looked. Meanwhile, in the middle of the chaos, Tayana broke her silence, but not with a tweet, an interview, or even a quote. She spoke the way she always had. Through music. Out of nowhere, she dropped a surprise track on her page.
No promo. No hashtags.
Just a raw, intimate video of her in the studio. The camera was shaky, handheld, like it wasn't meant to be polished. She sat on a stool, eyes closed, singing directly into the mic. The verse was stripped back, almost like a whisper. "They pull me from both sides. One says fight, the other hides. But all I want is peace in this place, where my baby sleeps, where love has a face." The lyrics hung in the air, soft but heavy. It was beautiful, and heartbreaking, and unmistakably personal. Fans didn't need names. They already knew who the song was about. It wasn't a diss track. It wasn't angry. It was something deeper. Grief. Exhaustion. A quiet plea for peace. It hit home. Then came the twist no one saw coming. A source, anonymous, but allegedly close to the situation, leaked a screenshot of a private message. It was reportedly from Aaron, sent weeks before the scandal broke. And it contradicted everything he'd been claiming publicly. In the message, he appeared to admit to pushing Iman's buttons and even wrote that he wasn't scared if it turned into a scene. It was brief, but the implications were loud. Suddenly, he wasn't the victim he had painted himself to be. He was the instigator, the one lighting the fuse. What had once been speculation had now turned into evidence. And the story shifted again. Fans went into a frenzy. The leaked message changed everything. Overnight, the narrative flipped. What had once been murky was now crystal clear. People weren't just rallying behind Iman anymore. They were demanding real consequences for Aaron. "You tried to twist the story," one user commented, "but the truth doesn't stay buried for long." The internet lit up with support for Iman, admiration for his quiet strength, and outrage at Aaron's manipulations. Through it all, Tayana remained publicly silent. No interviews, no statements. But she made a subtle move that said more than any words could. She posted a single photo to her feed, Iman walking hand in hand with their daughter. No caption, no filters, no tagging, just the image, raw and real. And the world understood immediately. It was a message, a tribute, a gentle reminder of who had always been there, who had protected their family without fanfare, who had shown up consistently without needing a camera to prove it. After that, Aaron's threats of legal action quietly disappeared. The noise faded. There was no lawsuit, no follow-up, just silence. He began canceling appearances, pulled out of a few public events, and eventually went offline altogether. Whether it was to reflect, retreat, or just escape the backlash, it didn't matter. The damage had already been done. His credibility was gone. Iman, on the other hand, simply continued with life. He never addressed the situation again, never posted about it, never gave in to the temptation to clap back. He didn't have to. His dignity, his patience, and his unwavering presence had already told the world everything they needed to know. And in the end, that quiet strength spoke louder than any defense ever could. Tayana? She focused on healing, on music, on her daughter, on peace. Because after all the noise, all the drama, all the accusations and threats and legal warnings, that's all she ever wanted. Peace.